Fleet Admiral Kethvar adjusted his primary sensory organs as the tactical display updated with impossible readings. For 3 cycles, the hegemony's 7th Fleet had been systematically eliminating human colonies along the outer rim. 47 worlds cleansed, their populations harvested for the protein farms. It had been efficient work. Humans were weak, their technology primitive, their resistance negligible. Now, a single human vessel had emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. Mass readings. Kethvar rumbled, his chitinous fingers clicking across the command interface. "Inconclusive, Admiral," replied his tactical officer, Zelnoth. "The ship appears to be fluctuating. Our sensors detect anything from a light cruiser to something approaching dreadnought mass." Kethvar's mandibles clicked in annoyance. Human sensor jammers were crude at best. This had to be some malfunction in their own equipment. Visual confirmation? The main screen shimmered, displaying the approaching vessel. Kethvar's 4 eyes narrowed. The ship was unlike any human design in their extensive databases. Sleek and organic-looking, it seemed to pulse with an inner light. Strange geometric patterns covered its hull, shifting and changing as they watched. "Incoming transmission," Zelnoth reported. On screen, the display flickered, revealing a human figure. But something was wrong. The creature's eyes held an intelligence that seemed to look through dimensions, and when it spoke, reality itself seemed to vibrate. "Hegemony forces," the human said, its voice carrying harmonics that made Kethvar's exoskeleton ache. "You have committed acts of genocide against our species. You have harvested our children. You have burned our worlds." A pause. "We have learned from your mistakes." The transmission cut off. "Sir," Zelnoth's voice carried a tremor Kethvar had never heard before. "Energy readings from the human vessel they're off our scales. And Admiral, there's something else. Long-range sensors are detecting quantum distortions throughout the system. It's as if space itself is being rewritten." Kethvar felt the first stirring of unease. The hegemony had conquered 17 species across 4 galactic arms. Humans were supposed to be just another primitive race, barely capable of faster-than-light travel. Yet this single ship was generating energy signatures that defied comprehension. "All ships, battle formation. Prepare to..." The human vessel simply arrived. One moment it was at the system's edge, the next it materialized directly in front of the flagship. No hyperspace transition, no subspace wake. It had simply stepped from one point to another, as if distance was merely a suggestion. "Impossible," Kethvar whispered. The ship's hull patterns began to shift more rapidly, and something like laughter echoed across all communication frequencies. But it wasn't human laughter. It was the sound of entropy itself finding humor in the situation. "You consumed our worlds," the voice returned, now coming from everywhere at once. "So we consumed something else. Do you know what lies beyond the event horizon of a black hole, Admiral Kethvar? Do you know what whispers in the spaces between quarks? How did it know his name? How was it broadcasting without using any known communication method?" "All ships, open fire," Kethvar commanded. 17 dreadnoughts unleashed their combined firepower. Plasma cannons, gravitational disruptors, reality-shearing torpedoes, enough destructive force to crack a moon. The energy barrage struck the human ship and simply stopped. The weapon's fire hung in space around the vessel like frozen lightning, then slowly began to bend inward. "We found them, Admiral," the human continued conversationally, as the hegemony's own weapons orbited its ship like tame pets, the things that eat light. The human ship pulsed once, and 17 hegemony dreadnoughts began to scream. Not their crews, the ships themselves. Metal shrieked as it folded into geometries that shouldn't exist. Quantum processors wailed as they calculated impossible equations. Energy conduits sang funeral dirges as power flowed backward through time. Kethvar watched in mounting horror as his flagship's tactical display began showing readings that violated every law of physics he knew. The human vessel wasn't just destroying his fleet, it was converting them into something else. Something that operated on principles that predated the universe itself. Status report, he demanded, but his crew couldn't respond. They were too busy staring at their own hands as cellular structure began reorganizing according to alien mathematics. We gave them our pain, the human voice continued, now speaking directly inside Kethvar's skull. Our grief. Our rage at what you did to our children. And in return, they taught us how to unmake things. How to edit reality's source code. How to make the universe remember what it was like before it learned to obey its own laws. The flagship's hull began to sing a low, harmonious note that spoke of endings and beginnings, of civilizations that had learned too much and paid the price in sanity. Around them, the other hegemony vessels were transforming, their crews merging with their ship's AI systems, becoming something that was neither organic nor artificial, but terrifyingly other. You harvested our worlds for food, the human said, as Kethvar felt his consciousness expanding beyond the confines of his body, merging with the ship's neural network, becoming part of something vast and hungry, and utterly alien. Now you'll feed something much older. The last thing Admiral Kethvar transmitted before his voice became part of the greater symphony was a sound that had no equivalent in any known language, the scream of a mind realizing that everything it thought it knew about reality was merely the universe's way of keeping itself sane. When the transformation was complete, 18 ships hung in space, where there had once been a battle. 17 bore the markings of the hegemony, but their crews now sang in frequencies that made dark matter dance. The 18th ship, still pulsing with impossible light, turned toward the next hegemony system. There were 46 more fleets to convert. The universe was about to remember what it had forgotten, one scream at a time.